Hey, everyone. Hi, Mom. I have a question. Have you ever wondered who foots the bill for Canadian philanthropy? Think about it for a moment. The answer to this question reveals a lot more than it appears to. Many of you might say donors, and I'd say you're wrong. My answer is we all do. This isn't just semantics. It's about power, accountability, and the fundamental future of philanthropy in this country. If donors alone foot the bill, as too many people believe, then we accept a system where a small group of wealthy and well-intentioned people wield unaccountable influence over our nation's charitable efforts, free to provide rivers of support to some while leaving others in drought. But if we all contribute, the picture looks a little bit different. We'd all have a say and an expectation to benefit. I contend that our perspective on this fundamental question determines whether we can, or even want to, shift and redistribute power in Canada's philanthropic landscape. Good evening. Again, my name is Liban Abokor, and in 2020, alongside Joseph Smith Jr., Rebecca Darwint, Jacob Blay, and Kofi Acheampong, I co-founded the Foundation for Black Communities. Canada's first and only Black-led, dedicated, and focused philanthropic foundation. I appreciate the applause, but I didn't say that with pride. It's never good to be the first. Tonight, I want to explore how shifting our perspective on who fuels Canada's philanthropic sector and to whom we're accountable is crucial for unlocking real transformative change in our communities. I want to delve into why charitable funds should be seen as public resources and how this shift in thinking can lead to a more equitable and impactful giving plan for this country. By the end of this talk, I hope you'll see philanthropy not just as an act of generosity, but as a shared responsibility that obliges us all to ensure we're delivering impact for all Canadians. To do that, I want to begin with a scenario. I want you to consider two individuals who walk into a hospital at the same time with the same ailment. Let's call them patient 1 and patient 2. Both are suffering from the same ailment, remember? But the hospital rushes to treat one and neglects the other. Patient 2 insists on receiving care. Reluctantly, the hospital concedes. A nurse comes, provides a very cursory assessment, and directs patient 2 to go take a seat in the hallway. Meanwhile, in the same very hospital, patient 1 has already been taken to a private room, has been given a full and thorough diagnostic, and a specialist is en route to give them a personal care plan. Hours pass, patient 2 is still in the hallway, with only a saline drip and pain medication to take the edge off. Their pain is in full view. Their suffering neglected, as doctors and nurses walk right by, without even acknowledging them. Quick recap. 2 patients, same issue, same hospital, different treatment. One receives comprehensive care, the other one receives hallway health care. This isn't a dystopian picture. This is precisely what unfolds in Canadian philanthropy every single day. Some communities receive abundant resources, while others, not so much. I understand. Some of you may be thinking, but Liban, healthcare is a publicly funded institution, and it comes with an entitlement to service, while philanthropy is, well, a private endeavor. Donors and foundations can decide to do what they want with their money and for whom. I completely disagree. That perspective is not only inaccurate, but it's at the heart of what's wrong with Canadian philanthropy today. Like our healthcare system, philanthropy is underwritten by public tax base, obligated to provide a public benefit, and yet falls short of its promise to serve all Canadians equitably. Don't believe me? All right. Philanthropy in Canada is heavily subsidized by public funds. That's a fact. Donors receive tax receipts for their contributions, reduce their tax obligations, foundations grow endowments tax-free, and all of that is underwritten by all of us. Yet, the very communities that underwrite the sector are often overlooked, just like the Black community and many others. And to keep with this healthcare theme, the similarity even goes deeper. Just as our healthcare system sometimes fails patients by providing hallway healthcare, instead of offering proper treatment, our philanthropic sector fails communities by offering hallway philanthropy. Temporary, insufficient aid, instead of equitable and sustainable support. We found as much in 2020 in our unfunded report, which I helped co-author. That report found that Canadian philanthropy dedicated only 7 cents out of every $100 to initiatives benefiting Black communities. To borrow what you said, Mitzi, I'll let that sit for a second. 7 cents out of every $100. This isn't just disappointing, it's a damning indictment of this systemic neglect in our philanthropic practices. It completely, once again, ignores, if you accept my thesis, a community that helps underwrite Canadian philanthropy. So in response, we established the Foundation for Black Communities, as I mentioned earlier, which has since raised $250 million, becoming North America's largest capital pool, supporting and controlled by Black communities. While groundbreaking, FFBC shouldn't and cannot bear this burden alone. Consider FFBC as an urgent care center in a system where family doctors aren't accepting new patients. Some communities enjoy cradle-to-grave care from practitioners who are knowledgeable and responsive to their needs. Black communities, however, often rely on these emergency clinics of philanthropy. Vital, but ill-equipped, can't provide comprehensive care. That's the challenge, isn't it? 6 million Canadians in Canada without family doctors. There's 1.5 million people in this country who are Black who didn't have a philanthropic home until FFBC was created. The disparity reveals a stark truth. Our philanthropic sector is either fundamentally broken or it's functioning exactly as intended, if you accept the premise that some communities are entitled to equitable support because donors and not community can decide. So let's talk about how we transform that. There's no single fix to hallway philanthropy. It requires a shift in both mindset and action, a renewed sense of philanthropic accountability. So I'm going to try to end with 3 quick recommendations on how that transformation can take place. The first one, we have to overhaul our governance and staffing within Canadian philanthropy. Our foundations don't look like the communities they serve. In fact, we make decisions for people who we've never met, don't look like, and often don't know. That's kind of like planning a surprise dinner and then not inviting the guest of honor. Makes for a pretty bad party. So I want to encourage us to think about a promising development to address this. It's Bill S-279. It's a proposed law that aims to ensure the collection and dissemination of aggregate data on directors. I think this legislation could be a vital step forward, encouraging for greater transparency and inclusivity on boards. Recommendation 2, embrace participatory grant making. If change at the top is slow, let's initiate from the grassroots. allow those most affected and intended to benefit to decide where the funds go. This is the core philosophy at the Foundation for Black Communities. We use community selection circles at FFBC to decide who gets grants. We enable local communities to choose which programs are funded in their name. This year, we expect to work with over 400 volunteers from across the country to read over 2,500 applications to give away about $10 million. Someone recently joked that that might have set a Guinness World Book of Records. I don't have their phone number. If someone does, let's get in touch. Let's find out. But to recommendation number 3, it starts with the question I asked. We have to acknowledge that we're managing public assets as those who work in philanthropy. Canadians are entitled to benefit from those public assets that they underwrite. We should focus on maximizing and optimizing that public benefit and recognize this responsibility is crucial to restoring trust, one that's fleeting, and ensuring that our philanthropic efforts are genuinely serving the common good. To conclude, I think it's time for a paradigm shift in Canadian philanthropy, one that embraces true accountability, recognizes charitable funds as public resources meant to benefit all, and one that ensures that no one is left in the hallway again. Thank you.